THQ Nordic claims the decision to yank Metro Exodus from Steam and launch it as a time exclusive on the Epic Games Store was made entirely by the game's publisher Koch Media. Although THQ Nordic owns both Koch Media and its publishing division Deep Silver, it explained the franchise is still the intellectual property of Koch, and that the exclusivity agreement was its baby. Indeed, while the deal itself is notable as being the second big-name title Epic has pushed from Steam in recent weeks, it's interesting to see Koch's parent company distance itself from the move. The decision to publish Metro Exodus as a timed Epic Store exclusive was made entirely on Koch Media's side, as Metro is their intellectual property. Read the tweet from THQ Nordic. They are a sister company of THQ Nordic, which is the reason why we can and will not comment on this matter. We do not want to categorically exclude the possibility of timed exclusives for any of our games in the future. But speaking in the here and now, we definitely want to have the players choose the platform of their liking and make our portfolio available to as many outlets as possible. As for how the deal unfolded, Deep Silver chief executive Clemens Kondratitz explained the publisher wanted to take advantage of the Epic Games Store's generous annual share, which would see the company take an 88% revenue split, compared to the standard 70%. The folks over at Steam were not impressed, however, and although Metro Exodus will return to Valve's marketplace in February 2020, the company branded the deal unfair. We think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period, it wrote in an update on THQ Steam page. We apologize to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through the February 15th release date, but we were only recently informed of the decision and given limited time to let everyone know. Last year's Tetris Effect is seen by some as the best version of Tetris, the best game ever made, and at the 2019 Game Developers Conference in March, a few of its creatives will show you exactly how they did it. Notably, enhanced Chief Fund Game Industry veteran Tatsuya Mizuguchi will be at DD this year to help lead an exciting design track on making Tetris Effect that you will not want to miss. Alongside fellow producer Mark McDonald and Tetris Effect director Takashi Ishihara, Mizuguchi will walk you through the game's production journey. An exciting story of creating a new version of an established franchise that allows you with practical lessons applicable to almost all aspects of general game production, from beta reviews and through launch. While the learnings should prove useful for all game makers, this is a talk you absolutely do not want to miss. If you are at all interested in Tetris Effect and the workflow that produced it, further details on this talk and many more are available now on THGDC 2019 session scheduler. There you can begin to lay out your DD 2019, which takes place March 18th through the 22nd at the newly renovated Moscone Center in San Francisco. Bring your team to DD. Register a group of 10 or more and save 10% on conference passes. Learn more. For more details on GDC 2019, visit the show's official website, or subscribe to regular updates via Facebook, Twitter, OS. Gamasutra and DD are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. Sony has released its financials for the third quarter, ended December 31st,
2018.
and software is bringing home the bacon for the Japanese giant. Quarterly sales in the company's games and network segment increased by 10% year-on-year to 796 billion yuan, $7.2 billion, while operating income fell by percent to 73.1 billion yuan, $668.2 million. A rise in game software sales was largely responsible for that upswing, and helped offset a decline in PlayStation 5 hardware, with year-on-year sales of the console falling to 8.1 million units in Q3 FY18 from 9 million units in Q3 FY17. Although PS4 sales are on the wane, Sony said the drop-off was in line with its expectations, and also explained the decrease in operating income was due to the aggressive promotional activities it took in an attempt to sell more hardware. Overall, lifetime PS4 sales now stand at 91.6 million units worldwide, and Sony intends to mitigate the potential volatility in hardware profitability by leveraging that sizable install base through network service and add-on content sales. Looking ahead, Sony has not adjusted its full-year forecast, and still expects to see PlayStation 5 hardware sales reach 17 million units by the end of the fiscal year. It's also expecting operating income and sales in its game division to reach to 35 trillion yuan, $21.5 billion, and 310 billion yuan, $2.8 billion, respectively, when the financial year winds down on March 31st.
2019
Briefly glancing at the company as a whole, consolidated sales fell by 10% to 5 trillion yuan, $21.3 billion, and profit increased by 45% to 129 billion yuan, $3.8 billion. This interview is part of our Road to the If series. You can find the rest by clicking here. Ethereal takes the player through a complex, puzzle-filled place without words, teaching them through its colorful visuals, peaceful goals, and thoughtful mechanisms. Gamasutra spoke with Nicholas Rekbaran and as Batista of Nonsense Arts, developers of the Excellence in Audio nominated Ethereal, to learn more about how the game's quiet sound design came to be, how this move away from music helped strengthen the game's mood, and the challenges and benefits the developers saw in creating difficult puzzles without a single word to direct the player. Rekbaran with Nonsense Arts, the team behind Ethereal, composed by Nicholas Rekbaran, myself, and Top as Batista. I am in charge of coding, art and game design, and live in Mendoza, Argentina. Batista is the sound designer and musician, and lives in Lot of Buenos Aires. He is from Tierra del Fuego, the southernmost city of South America. I am an information systems engineer, and for the past 6 years, I have been making games for game jams and other little games just for fun. A couple of years ago, I started making games for a living, with freelance gigs and developing bigger projects such as Ethereal. Batista, I always played video games and music. My main instrument is the drums. It felt natural to me to combine the two worlds together. Around 2011, I started meeting other local devs, and started making small games for jams and mobile. Kindle Rekbaran. I slowly moved into freelance jobs, as we were developing Ethereal. Rekbaran. Once I was making new prototypes, I was very interested in games that had their own set of universal rules. Of course, every game is created around its own rules, and that makes it unique. But most games share a lot of their universal ones, for example, gravity, in platformers. So, the concept of Ethereal was born around the idea of creating a world where things worked in a way that only makes sense there. Baron the game was developed with Unity and coded in C#KIT using Visual Studio. Most of its visuals are results of shaders over shaders, but there are a couple of graphics assets made with Photoshop. But just my main audio software is Logic Pro. I could marry that piece of software. I love it. I used my code monologue to generate a bunch of the sound effects and the music in certain instances during the project. The Omnisphere was super helpful. For the ambient sounds, I used Pulse Stretch. That is a granular, free software, and it's awesome. Baron time constraints. Having limited lives and other kind of pressures,